Hi, let's jump straight into this tutorial. I'm starting my skin prep with a mattifying primer. Bear in mind I already did my skincare routine, so I have a properly moisturized skin. So even though this primer is mattifying, my skin underneath is properly hydrated and all of my other complexion products is going to glide on smoothly. For my foundation, I'll be using these two shades from Huda Beauty to achieve my perfect foundation match. This luminous matte foundation is so full coverage, but at the same time it does not feel heavy on my skin. I am not using a dense brush to apply this foundation, but look how evened out my skin tone is with just one swipe, and trust me, a little goes a long way. Moving on, I applied and blended the foundation onto the rest of my face, and I used a beauty sponge to sheer out my foundation. I'm applying the luminous matte concealer from Huda Beauty in Salted Caramel on my immediate under eye area, center of my forehead, bridge of my nose, chin and cupid's bow. This concealer is a little too dark for this purpose, but don't worry, I'm going to fix that. To bring back dimension to my face, I'm using the Overachiever concealer in Brownie to contour my cheekbone and around the perimeter of my forehead. I'm using this dense brush from Vicabel, and I love the way that it sits in the hollows of my cheeks. And even though this concealer is very creamy compared to the luminous matte one, it blends it out so seamlessly and I absolutely love it. To contour my jawline, I just use the remaining products on my brush, and I always like to go in with my beauty sponge to kind of marry everything together. To achieve the level of brightness that I want around my T-zone area, I'll use this Milani concealer to brighten up that area. As the title suggests, this is supposed to be a full face using Huda Beauty products, but I don't have a brighter concealer in that brand, so I'll make do what I have. I like blending out the concealer around my T-zone area with my beauty sponge, but before I do that, I make sure that I have some of the products on my beauty sponge. That way, when I go in to blend, the sponge does not lift the products that I already applied on my face. I start around the outer corners and blend it into my foundation for a soft and seamless transition. I should have actually given this Huda Beauty concealer a chance. It's not as bright as I normally like my highlights. For my nose contour, I like to keep it very subtle, so I use a slightly darker foundation. I also like to sweep my contour shade into my brows to give me a more natural nose contour. To blend it out, I pinch the butt of my beauty sponge and bounce it exactly where I place my nose contour. This is usually very easy for me to blend because my contour shade is almost close to my skin tone, and I'm always very light-handed when placing the product on my nose. For my blush, I'm using the Cheeky Tint in Baddie from Huda Beauty. I was so confused initially because with the first swipe, it felt like the pigment didn't show up on my skin. It was actually my light confusing me. Anyway, I applied a few more swipes, which was a lot, but I absolutely loved how sheer, blendable, and it gives a very healthy shine to the cheeks. Oh, do you see that? Like, so beautiful. Just blend as much as you need to. Just make sure that everything is seamless before you go in and set with your powder. I was just checking my base out and it was giving flawless. Now it's time to set the base, and I'm starting with my under eye area, but first I'll go in with my beauty sponge to make sure that I smooth out all the creases before I set with my powder. This step is extremely important for me because nobody wants a creased under eye, okay? So please smoothen out the creases before you set, because what you set is what you get. I first went in with the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in Dark Deepest, and I'm shook at how smooth my under eye looks. Like, it was so unreal. I applied the Huda Beauty setting powder in cinnamon bun on top of this, and I was ready to set the rest of my face. And for all the areas I contoured, I set them with the CoverGirl bronzer in Ebony, and my powder blushes are from Juviasplace, and they are in the shades Bella and Serafina. And finally, I set the rest of my face with the MAC mineralized powder in dark deepest. I'm also dusting off the excess setting powder under my eyes. If you have to, use a precise small blending brush to dust off the excess powder, and that completes the entire base routine. I went off camera and did my brows, and I also applied my eyeshadow base off camera. I'm using the dark brown shade from the Love Fest palette on a dense blending brush and just packing that shade onto my outer V and across my crease. I just keep packing that color and blending along until I achieve the pigmentation I want. I also do the same process on the other eyes. With a medium-sized blending brush, I'm using a lighter shade of brown to diffuse and blend out my first shade, and I'm focusing on the hash line. I keep going back and forth in a windshield and circular motion until I achieve that beautiful transition between the two shades. I also went in with a bigger and clean blending brush to go over my eyes to further blend out everything. I don't know why I didn't film this part. I thought I was filming, but I used the Hudabeauty Empowered palette, and the pigment of those shimmers, just wow. Just wow. I applied the shade Bold Moves on my eyelid and the shade Courageous to give it some depth. Can you guys see that? Can you guys see this? Like, oh my god. With a very small blending brush, I transitioned the shimmer shades into the dark brown to kind of blend out the hash line on my crease, and the outcome was just so beautiful. With a gel liner, I smoke out my lash line and my waterline to give my eye makeup that lifted look. I also set the gel liner with a black eyeshadow, and I kind of blended it out with a dark brown eyeshadow that I used earlier. I popped the shade Bold Mode from the Empowered palette in the inner corner of my eyes just to open up my eyes, and I applied my mascara, and I was ready for lashes.
Magnificent.
I like to measure my lashes to make sure it fits. Most of the time I have to trim off the excess. Because of how curly my lashes are, I like to apply my lash glue directly on my lash line like a liner and let it get tacky before I pop on my lashes. Look how good we are looking already. The skin is so yummy. Anyway, I go ahead and apply my highlighter to the highest point of my face, and I also do my lips. So I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the rest of the makeup, and I'll talk to you guys soon. So guys, this is the finished look. If you watched up to this point, thank you so much for sticking by. I hope you learned one or two things from this video. Okay, if you did, let me know in the comment section. Also give me a thumbs up if you found this video valuable. It will really help my channel and I really appreciate it so much. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.